Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. Sounds like some fireworks on the 4th of July. We are back today with the Asics Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. You might be wondering how I got this because it's not officially releasing for a few weeks. I did not get it sent to me by Asics because we do not accept free shoes from the brands. I did, however, get it because somebody posted a link on the Supwell app to this random website that posted some inventory early. And then Grant, our social media guy, he sent it to me. He texted it to me and said, "Hey dude, check this out." And I said, "I don't know, man. Is it gonna come? Is it not gonna come? But I've heard some things about this site and it seems legit." So I got it and bang, here we go, about 3 weeks early. So if you're interested in getting access to the early releases, being part of the best dang running community out there, make sure to get on the Supwell app. I would tell you to get on the Supwell app for the training and the accountability, but I know most people are here to see the shoe, and we do have the best shoe. I think I could say that with certainty. We have the best running shoe community out there, and the benefit of having the paywall is that it keeps it tight. Nobody's gonna sign up for $5 a month just to troll, right? So there's a lot of good people out there, people getting after it, people posting their runs daily and helping each other out find the latest deals. It's a hobby, right? For all of us out there, what does it have to say? Hobby jogger. So if you're looking for a new community or a new shoe or a deal on a shoe, get in with us and enjoy today's video. Bang! Asics Metaspeed Sky America. Wow, this thing is called the Asics Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. I'm not sold on this whole... Oh gosh, that is so light. That is so light. Oh my goodness. It feels like there's a 6-pack of donuts or something in this box. It's like a box of donkeys. There is not a pair of shoes in here. That is incredibly light. But yeah, I'm not sold on this whole naming convention, especially because I know for a fact, speaking of donkeys, they are never going to do the Asics Metaspeed Sky Boston or the Asics Metaspeed Sky Detroit. And apparently... it's because this is the whole thing, right? It's not apparently. The reason is because it's the big world championship marathon or the Olympics. So it was Paris last year. This is Tokyo. But I just know they're not going to do Asics Metaspeed Sky New York. Maybe they would do Los Angeles. That is one of the more cosmopolitan cities in the U.S. But I want to pull up in the Asics Metaspeed Sky Harlem. Give me that. Maybe they'll do colorways of U.S. cities. That would be cool, right? Butter Tim's, the Harlem edition. Maybe we could have the Asics Metaspeed Sky Boston and it's the Dunkin' Donuts colorway, the pink and the orange. That could be pretty fire. Anyway, happy 4th of July to everyone. Asics Metaspeed Sky America. Let's just call it that today, just to get some laughs out of our European friends. We're not going to take your jokes today. I know there's a lot of hating America jokes. A lot of you guys in the running interwebs out in other countries thinks it's funny to hate on us. Guess what? It's America Day today, baby. All right, let's open this thing up. Bada boom, bada bang. Woo, baby. Look at this. I am wasting no time today. This is a beautiful shoe. Asics Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. This is the latest and greatest in the Asics racing franchise. It's actually the latest. It's not the greatest because they do have one coming up. That's the Metaspeed Sky Ray. And what they're doing here is an update to the entire shoe. So the Sky Paris was... boom. Sky Paris, one of the top racing shoes of the past few years. And we're doing this Instagram post. I don't know if it's going to come up today or tomorrow, but all the members of the Supwell team, so me, Barrett, Meredith, Grant, we all put our favorite daily trainer, our favorite race shoe, and our favorite long run shoe. So the whole concept Barrett came up with it was Desert Island. If you could only take 3 shoes to a desert island, a daily trainer, a race shoe, and a long run shoe. Spoiler alert, I bent the rules because Alpha Fly was my long run shoe. But hey, most of my long runs are with Marathon Pace, so I want the Alpha Fly. But both Grant and Barrett pick the Sky Paris, right? We have 4 people on the team. That's 50% of the team. And I think a month ago or 6 weeks ago, if you asked me, I would have picked the Sky Paris as my desert island shoe as well. It is just so good. This is the number one shoe that I could rely on for a race of any distance. That's why it's also a fun desert island shoe pick, because if someone says, hey, you're going to run a 400-meter race, you're going to run a 5K, you're going to run a marathon, maybe even a 50K, this is the shoe that could handle anything. And the reason why it was so great for so many people is all in this midsole here. It was right in that Goldilocks zone. Not too soft, not too firm, aggressive plate up near the front, and a nice rocker. And the other thing is, yes, it had a narrow heel out in the back, but because it had a firmer foam compound, not super soft and squishy like some of the newer stuff. For example, Adios Pro 4, this is probably the most popular out of the new squishy marathon shoes. Just look at this heel squish down in the back. And then this guy here, just on the side, very squishy platform. So the Sky Paris, yes, it was lightweight, narrow, and aggressive, but it also retained some elements of normalcy. Shout out Warren Harding. Was that Warren G. Harding? Return to normalcy? It's hard to remember my history sometimes, but guess what? It's July 4th, so we got to harken back to the old days. Fun fact, did you know 2 U.S. presidents both died on July 4th? And there were 2 of the first 3 presidents, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, both died on July 4th. And the thing about that was they were actually adversaries a lot of the time, but then they both died on the same day, July 4th. Anyway, this guy has the FF Turbo Plus midsole. The main update we are seeing in the new one, which is one of the main things that I'm terrified about, is the shift to a softer midsole foam on the bottom. So this guy, you can see we still have the FF Turbo Plus on the top here. Bottom layer of FF Leap. Let's do the push test. First push test. Ooh, not too bad. Not too bad. That is, okay, that's not too bad. That is not like a Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. That's what I was scared about with this, that they'd be shifting this all the way over to a Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 type of softness on the bottom here. This honestly feels more like OG Light Strike Pro. And the thing with the FF Turbo Plus is that out of the box, it almost felt firm. And especially in the Super Blast and these unbroken in Sky Paris and Edge Pairs, it could feel firm. So, man, this is good to feel that this is not super soft. We'll see how it does when running, but yeah, it's not too bad here. Now, the cool thing about this is an innovation. We haven't seen any race shoes do this, or any shoes in general. When you see dual foam, it is more common that on the top layer you get the soft foam, and the bottom layer you get the firm foam. So think about Tracksmith Elliott Racer. Think about On Cloud Boom Strike, Adidas Boston 12 and 13, Mizuno Wave Rebellion Flash 2, Asics Super Blast 2, Mizuno Neo Vista 2. Yeah, the list goes on. Saucony Endorphin Trainer, Saucony Convado Pro, Saucony Tempest. Any of the dual foam shoes you see will have the race foam on top, or the softer, more exciting foam on the top, and then on the bottom, you'll have the firmer foam for stability. So this is a really cool setup. I know our friend from Doctors of Running, Dave, was saying that it felt like a trampoline to run in this. He was one of the guys who got flown out for the early access when they did the whole release event a month or 2 ago. He was saying because it has the softer foam on the bottom, you're not compressing as much on the top, and then it has this trampoline-like effect. So I'm really interested to see how that does out on the run. You still have the aggressive plate position. You can see the plate line here up close to the foot. Looks incredibly similar to the last generation. Let's see. Let me grab my calipers here. All right. At the widest part here, you're getting 14 millimeters, roughly 14, 15 millimeters of foam above the ridgeline on the plate. Let's check over here. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 millimeters less of foam. Very similar, though. Let's actually do a 4-foot check here. Wow, 35 mils of foam right up there in the 4-foot. and we're getting around 31 in the Sky Paris. So I'm wondering if the stack is going to be higher in this new one. It likely will compress down given the softer foam. But what I did find with the FF Turbo Plus here is this compressed down a lot as well. This was actually close to 34 millimeters or something in the heel when I did the last review on it. It was probably 100 or 80 mile review on this guy. So not a super max stack shoe. This guy is really designed for aggression, speed, and being a top tier marathon option. So one of the shoes that I personally am most excited about, Sky Paris, was an absolute tank. Let's put the Sky America through the lab and see how this stacks up for the specs. So the Sky, for all the Metaspeed shoes, are designed to be super lightweight. So with that, you see some design choices here informing that. So upper, very streamlined and stripped down. They've also even reduced the padding, so you can see on the Sky Paris, and this is cool to see the evolution in the chase for the lightest shoe. You can see on the Sky Paris here, you get some of this padding. It goes all the way from the back of the shoe up toward the lacing. On the America, they've stripped that down. So all the way, there's basically 1.5 inches of padding from the heel forward, and then it's this really lightweight, thin material. If you look at a shoe like the Adios Pro 4, they've already done that. We've been on that, bro. We've been on that. That's old news, bro. So look at this, Sky Paris padding, Adios Pro 4. They've had the no padding. There's some padding on the interior. And then the America here is also going toward less padding. So that should save some weight and shave some weight. The other thing is, and man, without that insert, it's even lighter. The other thing, though, is the outsole. Not a very thick outsole. If we look at the Paris here, you get all the coverage in the front, but the back very exposed. I still feel like this is a gimmick. And as more of a heel striker at my relaxed paces, I don't know. At first, I didn't love this shoe for those relaxed paces, but then I felt it was fine. Just throw some rubber on the back. Why not? It's not going to hurt the ride to have the rubber there. And if you're saying it's only for forefoot strikers, you're not going to need it there. It's not going to do anything bad. And the thing with these shoes is, yeah, adding 5 grams of weight doesn't make any difference for the ride, but I think sometimes it's all just ego. It's a P measuring, what do they call it? A P measuring competition where brands just want the lightest shoe. So this is what you get when you're on the chase for the lightest shoe. You're trying to save weight at all costs. And right now, that is the number one frontier of race shoes. It's not really the foams anymore. We've seen a pause in advancements in foam. So it's all about chasing the lightest possible construction. So on the new one here, the America, look at that. It is completely bald in here. It's bald in the back like an American bald eagle. All right, let's throw this thing on the scale. Actually, I'm going to tease you real quick. I've been trying to get the right angle here because this scale, it has the digital numbers. Look at that. On the digi scale, weighing it up. Let's zero that out. Can you see that? I think we might have done a good job today. All right, I'm going to tease you. Let's show on the last gen, the Paris, 191 grams. Anything under 200 in my size, super light. Adios Pro 4, one of the standard bearers in the category right now. This is a default shoe for a lot of people. I like it a lot better in the true to size that I have versus the half size up. Still don't think I'll race a marathon in it, but been a good training option for me. 215 grams. Another one of the standard bearers here. And this guy's been, the Alpha Fly 3, on the market for 18 months or something now. So this is getting long in the tooth. I'm guessing we're going to see the Alpha Fly 4 at the end of the year because they're on a 2-year development cycle for these shoes. This is 223 grams. So it's crazy. That's the heaviest, right? If we go lightest to heaviest, you have Sky Paris, Adios Pro 4, Alpha Fly 3. You're increasing from 190s to, that's my friend over there. I think he's a high school runner getting his mileage in. 190s, 215, 220s. And then latest and greatest, the Kingslayer Puma Fast R3. This is the fastest shoe, speed weapon right now, 188. So that undercuts the Sky Paris by a few millimeters. Some other shoes that I like the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3, that's around, I believe, 210. Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, it's above 200. So 200 and 205, 200, let's call it. That's really the range. It used to be 220. Last year, all the shoes I liked around 220. Saucony Endorphin Elite 220, but now it's shifted down. That's a weight reduction of about 10%. So Metaspeed Sky, let's see where this comes in. And before I put it on, you got to remember the Ray is coming as well, the Asics Metaspeed Ray. That has 100% of the FF Leap foam, and that is going to be their top tier racer with the lightest weight. So bada boom, bada bang. Oh my goodness, dude. That's a joke, man. 175 grams. That's so light. That is so light. So yeah, a lot of that has to be coming from the midsole because they didn't do much to the upper to change it other than the padding around the back, and the rubber is the same. So it's got to be this FF Elite midsole. And I'm telling you, pushing it in here, it doesn't feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel that soft. It feels soft for sure. It doesn't feel scarily soft to me though, which is a good thing. Let me see, compression on this. Yeah, it feels appropriately soft for a shoe that I would want to race in and run fast in. So, man, if this can be lightweight but not a super squishy marshmallow, that could be a banger. Also, I know the last one people said it's not for heel strikers, but you get this gigantic chunk of foam back here, and it's sticking out beyond the shoe. So this probably isn't going to be too bad for relaxed miles either. Let's take a look at the width here. It looks like they might have even widened out the platform, at least of the foam, if not of the contact part at the bottom. So contact strip at the back, 73 millimeters. So that's super narrow. That's super narrow. That's maybe even narrower. Yeah, I think I misspoke there. I miscalculated there. That's narrower there. So 77 on the Paris. But let's take it up here, close to the foot. You're closer to 60. That's 61 with the foam close to the foot. And this is what I'm saying. Yeah, look at this back here. Boom. 70. Is that 80? 79. That's interesting, right? So they've made the width of the foam up closer to the foot much wider, and then it tapers down. So I have no idea how that's going to affect the ride, but just looking at it from the back, look how wide that is. Maybe that's going to help with stability, even though the contact strip on the bottom or the contact patch on the bottom is narrower, and it overall seems that it's a touch wider. Let's get midfoot width on this guy. 69. Yeah, midfoot is significantly wider. 58 on the Paris. So the America has gotten bigger, taller, and fatter. So that's an interesting design decision that they've made here, just overall widening it out. It still does have that wider forefoot, and the philosophy behind that, the theory behind that, is that this is for powerful runners, so stride style runners, meaning that when you're running fast, you're not necessarily picking up your feet more or taking more steps per minute. You are just opening it up, and that's how I run. I'm always around a 160, dude. When I'm relaxed miles, I could be 160 cadence, and then when I'm running hard marathon pace, more around 170. I only really get up to 180 if I'm ripping 430, 440 pace. So this is a shoe that's designed for a runner like me, versus the edge theoretically is if you're a 200 cadence runner. You're running 200 steps per minute at your faster paces, and at your relaxed paces more you're around 180. That is the theory behind it. It is mostly about the plate position and the plate size. So with this guy here, you have the plate closer up to the foot, and you want to have a large patch here so that when you're putting that power down, taking a more powerful step versus a quicker step, you're optimizing that. So more bounce. That's what this shoe is designed to do. Get a greater bounce when you dig in. Now, before we get to Stackerator, I haven't said anything about the looks. Banger colorway right here. This looks absolutely classic, and I love the touch of purple on it. I was saying last week that brands need to do more with purple. This is a really nice implementation of purple with this classic red. This looks like it could have come out in 2005 or 1963 or 2023. It's just an absolutely timeless look on the upper. And then, of course, we got this gigantic stack of foam, which tells you it came out in 2025. But even with the gigantic stack of foam, something about this shoe just gives me a very retro look. So really nice job. Asics completely crushed it with this thing. Let's put it through the Stackerator. So you might be familiar with the World Athletics regulation that states no professional athlete can wear a shoe with a heel above 40 millimeters to have their record certified and to qualify for prize money or competing in any legit events. That's why you've heard the term illegal running shoes. That's what it means. It doesn't matter if you're a hobby jogger. It doesn't matter if you're running around the block or even running a marathon. Nobody's checking shoes. But that does mean for professional athletes it needs to be below 40, which trickles down to all of these shoes that we buy for racing. They're all below 40. So Sky Paris, after a year of use, I don't know the exact mileage on this. I got sloppy there in the winter with my mileage tracking. We're back on track with the 100-mile reviews and everything. But let's call it 80 to 100 miles, 35 mils in the back. And at times, I think this was actually lower. I think this might have come in around 34 mils or something. So that has compressed a fair bit. Let's take a look at the new one here. Sky America. It seems much higher out of the box here. Boom, look at that. 38.9. Let's get a check on the other one. And that's interesting too, because some of these shoes, the race shoes in my size, I wear a 10.5. World Athletics, they go on a size 9, and you can scale up and down based on that. So a lot of these shoes come in above 40 in my size. So let's see. 38 again. Okay, good QA. I actually forgot to do the QA check, but let's throw some of these other shoes in the Stackerator quickly to give you a sense of where they compare. Alpha Fly 3. I think this one has under 50 miles on it, 39 millimeters. So with some usage, still taller than the America out of the box. Fast R3, 39.28. Adios Pro 4, boom, 39. So all these are around 39 with some usage. The Sky Tokyo is a touch lower. Maybe that's what's influencing the lightweight, huh? 1 or 2 millimeters lower. No, it is just a very lightweight shoe. Let's get a final QA check on these before we lace them up. Right side, 169. Look at that. So few grams difference there. 169 versus 175. Not terrible, but not great either. We'll give that a B minus on the QA. Say it in the intro. Hopefully I said it in the intro. But it was a random website that somebody posted on the Supwell app. So shout out to the Supwell app. Lacing up the Sky Tokyo here, aka the Sky America. Ooh, interesting. Dude, same thing as the Paris. It has this weird midfoot bump on step-in. It's like a Skechers. And also, it still has the weird upper and tongue. So they didn't fix some of the quirks of the last generation. It just, the upper was probably the weakest point of the Paris, where it fit slightly snug and short. Let's see. Seems like it has that same fit here where, I don't know, my toes aren't all the way bumping up against the edge, but something about the way that this upper is contoured at the top. So same exact fit as the last one. They did not improve it to fit the American foot better, which I would have assumed they had done, given they're calling this one the Sky America. The upper material is nice, though. It's very see-through, so make sure you like your socks, your race socks, if you're showing up to race day with this thing, because everyone's going to be seeing those race socks. Ooh, we also have to make sure our sock is completely flat before we go in, because any crinkles, any sock crinkles that you have, those are going to stay underneath here. But yeah, let's see, lacing it up here. Ooh, little squish test to the side. It is tall and still narrow with that, what was it, 70 millimeter wide heel. Yeah, definitely not as squishy as something like the Elite 2. But it also doesn't feel as stable as a Cielo OG or Adios Pro 4 or Pro 3. Pro 4 isn't super stable, but the Pro 3 was. All right, walk test. Man, the underfoot feel of this FF Leap is really nice. I can feel the softness. It's not as squishy as the Elite 2. It's somewhere in between a Zoom X Adios Pro 4 and a Light Strike Pro. It's almost in between Light Strike Pro OG and the new version. So super nice. It feels like they've dialed up the comfort a ton. So my hope is that they've kept the speed intact while increasing the comfort. I'm really excited to see how this bottom layer of soft does, because that's an innovation we haven't seen before outside of maybe the Salomon S-Lab Phantasm. So plan for this run, 1 mile warm-up, 4 mile tempo, 1 mile cool down. It is the 4th. It's a holiday. I'm already dipping into the tank of what is socially acceptable today in my household. So let's go do this thing. Hopefully the audio is okay today. I didn't have time to go find the GoPro case with the mic, so it might be windier than normal. Woo! Man, this feels nothing like the Sky Paris. Yeah, this feels nothing like the Sky Paris. FF Leap has most certainly dialed up the comfort. Yeah, it feels way better at these relaxed spaces. It also doesn't feel super new and fresh, which is fine. But yeah, this FF Leap is very reminiscent of Zoom X or Light Strike Pro. So it's almost like Asics has joined the soft bandwagon. It's nice. Feels way more forgiving than the Sky Paris. That thing was brutal, especially out of the box. Super aggressive.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Can I grab you for a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. So that was great.
Yeah, that's so hard, right? Getting back down, you gotta climb.
Yeah. Just like, it's mentally tiring, you know?
Yeah.
Like, physically incapable, but mentally I'm a little bit burnt out.
Yeah.
So, that's a big thing I'm trying to avoid. I researched a lot into like runner psychology.
Yeah.
When I have free time, and like a little catchphrase is that running's 90% mental
Yeah.
and 20% physical.
Yeah.
You just gotta put 110% in.
I love that.
It's kind of a bar.
Yeah.
I think.
I love that. 90% mental, 20% physical. Yeah, dude. I was
I'll
out here.
copyright it if you want to see it.
That's Logan bars right there.
Physically strong as you want. But if your brain don't want you to move, then you're not gonna move.
Exactly.
Is that camera like stabilizing, or is it?
Yeah, GoPro.
That's
you
cool.
can see it's completely
Say hi.
smooth. Logan putting in work in the 1080s.
Oh yeah.
All right, that was my guy Logan. He came and caught a few miles with me. I've seen him out running here before. He said he's rehabbing an injury. He's 15. He runs cross country, putting in the work in the 1080 V14s. He's on his 6 mile long run today, getting after it. So I have almost 3 miles now. I was gonna do a 1 mile warm up, but I got 3 mile warm up with him. So I'll do some strides and then start this tempo. I might do a shorter tempo now to save some time. All right, let's hit some strides. Woo! Baby. Man, the bounce. Whew, 13 seconds, 5 flat pace. Yeah, it didn't feel that impressive. That entire warm up, I was thinking, man, these feel not that great, but picking up the pace, baby. I think the biggest thing at these relaxed paces though, even though it doesn't feel that impressive, comfort. FF Leap, super comfortable foam. And I think this is what's gonna be in the Super Blast 3. So it's gonna be a crazy banger. Man, from that one stride, it feels like it could be the best soft racer out. Another stride. Woo! Moving, boy. 12 seconds, 4:57 pace. Yeah, man, these are so fast and they actually feel good for landing on the heel too. Another improvement with the FF Leap. It's not too soft, but you get that comfort in the heel and then you get that peppy pepper up in the forefoot. Man, this one could be coming for the title of best marathon shoe. Heel comfort with speed up in the forefoot, and it's not as aggressive as the Fast R3. I just wish it had some more rubber so that you could train in it without this foam flaking off, but we'll see. Maybe the FF Leap will hold up better. Some of the exposed TPU and TPEE foams do hold up better than PIBA. Another one. Yeah. Whoa. Toe off for the pure forefoot striking. Impressive.
And there's no pain here. This is not a race car like the Fast R3. No, it's not like that at all. It's comfortable but fast at 180 grams. That's wild. Yeah, I think the comfort here is my biggest surprise. When I was jogging along, bopping along with Logan, and it was not uncomfortable at all. It's almost like how unimpressive it feels at these relaxed spaces is a good thing. I'm not thinking that I have a crazy racer on my feet right now, jogging. All right, we gotta start this tempo at some point. I'm at mile 3.7. This is probably gonna be short. Might even just be 3 miles. So we'll just see how many I can get. I'm actually getting some minor heel slip on the left side. It's fine to run in, but because I haven't started the workout yet, I'm just gonna fix it, relace, see if that helps. Why not? There's no point in being a hero. What's that expression? There's nothing new under the sun. This is a very familiar feeling shoe. I can't place it, but it's elements from a lot of different shoes. The bottom layer is almost like the squish and bounce of the Endorphin Elite. It has a similar character to the Paris, but with more comfort. Just a very familiar feeling shoe, which is a good thing for the marathon. It's comforting. It's like chicken soup, or I guess tofu soup for the hobby jogger's soul. All right, that should be better. That should be good to go. Yeah, much better, much better. I almost want to retie the right side now too. Gotta make sure you crank these laces down, especially near the top, to get a good fit. That's so much better. Yeah, upper here, still the weakest part so far. It's lightweight, but this material is just not as good as the other brands. All right, mile 4, starting here. Man, it's so smooth. Smooth, comfortable, and fast. This is a marathon shoe. It's just, I feel right at home in this thing. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just so dialed for marathon pace. Beautiful. Comfortable heel, good toe off, nice roll, lightweight. Basically a perfect marathon shoe. Oh, there's Charles putting in work. And look, Glizzy's getting jiggy with it. Looking like Iggy with it. Smooth. First mile's the fib. Second mile's a lie. Third mile is where the doubts come to die. Find the tempo. A little hobby jogger that could. I think I can. I think I can. The mileage is a family business. Cul-de-sac stability. Okay. All right, mile 4 of the tempo, 5:41. Shoes are good. My fitness, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. One flag and 2 flags. You're cooling down in these. No weirdness. No weirdness at all. This might be the least weird soft shoe and the least weird fast shoe. Not weird like the Alpha Fly and the Fast R3 for fastness, because it's not so aggressive and you don't have to land at a certain place on it. And then it's also not super squishy where I feel like I'm bottoming it out. So this is way more normal and comfortable than I expected, which is basically exactly what I look for in a marathon shoe. It's comfortable, fast, normal, smooth. It is pretty narrow, but it's not bad. The forefoot does compress a lot. That's my one concern or critique with it. I'm wondering how this is going to do on a long run. Where we're out here pounding for 2.5 hours. Huh, that's another flag. Did I miss any? I probably missed a bunch back there. That's a flag on a flag. And then they have another flag. No flag, but they have a security sign. That's pretty American. They've got a flag on the mailbox. They've got 2 flags on their window. I got 2 flags. They've got a wreath flag. Oh, no flag. No flag in a Subaru. Oh no, there's a bunch of flags. Bunch of flags in their bush. No flag here. I've actually seen this guy. Oh no, he's got a flag. Okay, a lot of these guys got little flags. That's a cardinal on a flag. That's a popular flag. I've seen that one a few times. Bang, you already know how the mare is coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just on one side of the house. And our neighbor's got the buntings. And you already know, we got Old Glory just flapping in the breeze up there. Let them know. Bang. What are you calling small?
Asics Metaspeed Sky America. Fast like a bald eagle. Ah. I want to check one thing on these guys. Let's see. Not bad. Not bad. One run with a fair bit of landing on the heel. Not bad. Yeah, I don't know the exact compound of this. Feels like a TPEE or TPU. I really don't know though, because yesterday I was saying the Mizuno Wave Rider 29 was a TPU, the Energy Next, and then it turns out that was a supercritical EVA. So I might have lost my compound identification card. Sounds like sounds like something the QAnon people with a compound identification card. Yeah, Metaspeed Sky Tokyo. This thing is great, man. I can already tell this is a shoe that I'm going to train in a lot. Comfortable, smooth, good impact absorption in the back, and then you get a lot of horsepower up in the front here, baby. It's high torque and high horsepower. I can drive power, and I can kick my feet up. It has a nice toe off, very reminiscent of the Sky Paris and the Fast R3, and it's light and comfortable. I mean, pretty much a bang-on marathon shoe. Let's go, baby. Let's get the stats right here. Let's call that hard. Other than the miles with Logan, the entirety of that run was hard, the tempo portion. He's going to be average 7-something pace, or 6:57. And then, man, look at that pace. We were so smooth for the tempo. Let me get my splits right here. Oh, classic Garmin is not telling me. Okay, let's just go do the breakdown. We gotta stay on top of it today. It's gonna be 92. 92 on the 4th. That's just summer in the Carolinas, July in Charlotte. Yeah, this whole 4th of July thing, man, it gets me thinking every year about America. And it bums me out that it's become cool in certain circles to hate America. It's not just people who live outside America. It's almost like if you're proud of being an American or just happy to live here and appreciate the country, it's not cool. You should be, it's cool now to be ashamed of America. I don't get it. I really don't get it. There's good parts of America, there's bad parts of America. There's good parts of this shoe, and there's bad parts of this shoe. Right? There's good parts of everything and bad parts of everything. And it just gets me thinking, right? Ask somebody who hates America, okay, your house. Do you like your house? They'll say, of course, I like, what are you talking about? I like my house. I bought this house. I spent 6 to 8 months researching. We wanted a Craftsman, 3,000 square feet. Of course I love this house. I'm paying a mortgage on it every month. Okay. What about your neighborhood? Yeah, of course I love my neighborhood. What kind of question is that? Same thing. We were looking for a Craftsman in the Parkwood neighborhood of the city. Great schools. Clean water. I love this neighborhood. Okay. What about the city? Yes, I don't understand. Why are you asking me these questions? Of course I love my city. How about your state? I love the state. I chose to live here. What about your country? No, absolutely not. I hate my So this is the thing I don't get, man. There's this, it's this political thing where you can like your house, you can like your neighborhood, you can like your school, you can like your city, you can even like your state and your region. You can say you love being from New England, and that's okay and that's cool. But then as soon as you say you like America, it's weird and bad, and you should be ashamed of it. And I think it's because a certain subset of people who are proud to be an American have warped some of the values and twisted it to mean something different. But to me, baby, I've lived in America my whole life. This is the only country I know. I've been outside the US a few times, but I've lived here for 99.9% of my life, right? It's a great place to live. This is where I got my education. This is where I met my wife. This is where I have my family. I love America. So I don't know, man. There's every country, the entire, how do I say this, man? The only way a nation state exists right now is because they did terrible things. People in power once did terrible things to establish a dominant group, which then established the nation state that you have today. So no matter what country where you live, you can assure that the rulers that guaranteed that nation state's existence slaughtered a bunch of other people to get there. So, man, every country has its bad things. And then the people, of course, I don't know. The Nordic people love the health insurance, right, and want to critique the American healthcare system. Well, I'm going to go live in Norway I'm supposed to move my family to Norway for the health insurance and be one of 17 black people in that country. And I should say I hate America. I don't know, man. Anyway, Asics Metaspeed Sky Tokyo, we can call it by its government name. Let's throw up the splits today. We got a few mile warm up. I actually was not expecting that. My guy Logan came through. He's come through a few times. You've probably seen him randomly either running through or at the end of videos, and we never ran together before. He's 15. He said he's just coming off an injury, running a pair of 1080 V14. He's about an 18-minute 5K guy. He's trying to chip that time down. Really nice dude. He goes to Covenant Day School over here, so we got a few miles. He was on his long run today. I think he said 6-mile long run. We went up. I showed him some part of my loop up on the back side of the neighborhood, and then he said he had to go get some breakfast with his friends. I said, gosh dang, that sounds like a great day, getting your long run and then have some breakfast with your friends on the 4th. Anyway, 3-mile warm-up into the marathon pace tempo, bang on exactly where the pace should be. And I felt so smooth and controlled in this shoe, and more so than any of the shoes up there. As I was saying, it does a really nice job being normal. And it's funny that this is the latest shoe. Of course, it's not always going to be the latest shoe, but it just reminds me so much of elements of every single one of those shoes that we brought out. The softness of the Adios Pro 4, the same pop off the forefoot of the Sky Paris, similar cushion, like that big cushioned heel feel of the Alpha Fly, that's in here. So there's nothing completely unique in this shoe. I think if you laced it up, blindfolded somebody and said, go run a hard mile in this, they wouldn't guess that it was the Sky Tokyo. I think you'd have a hard time placing it, and it's almost like you take a sip of a soda you've never tried, or you take a bite of a pizza from a new pizza shop, and it's, man, where have I had this before? It tastes exactly like, is it Sal's from my hometown or Domino's? There's elements of this thing in a new experience. So there is nothing completely new, fresh, and unique in here. It's not like the Fast R3 where I laced that thing up and I say, man, I've never had an experience like this before, or the Prime X Strung 3, which I had recently, and I said, this is just such a unique experience. That is not this. And it is really cool that they did the innovative construction here with the softer foam on the bottom and the firmer foam on the top, but it doesn't feel that different. And maybe it's because we are used to having something firmer on the top, right? With the most insoles are going to be firmer than the training foam, and just having the carbon fiber plate in here is likely that's making the shoe read as more similar to other shoes. But yeah, there is nothing about this shoe that screams to me new experience, but what it is doing is delivering a comfortable, smooth, very reliable, fast, and surprisingly natural ride. And it's weird to say natural with a big 40mm stack here and the carbon plate and the dual foam, but compared to everything else out there, right? Compared to the Fast R3, aggressive. Compared to Alpha Fly 3, super bouncy. Compared to even the Adios Pro 4, very natural. I think that would probably be the closest comp to this. If you already have the Adios Pro 4 and you like that, I wouldn't get this. It is very, at least on the first run, I'm of course gonna get a ton more miles in this thing. I really enjoyed it, but just very similar to the Adios Pro 4 with the softer feel. I like the heel a lot more in this, and that, if you remember the initial videos I did on the Adios Pro 4, calling it a hot mess, I was critiquing the hole, the slit in the back, and I was saying there is no point to this. And this shoe exactly proves my point. It's lighter than the Adios Pro 4 with the same amount of foam, and there's no slit back here. And I also like they didn't even do the cutout in the middle to show you that it has a carbon fiber plate. We know that it has a carbon fiber plate, right? So zero gimmicks in this shoe. It is a 100% gimmick-free shoe. There are no gimmicks on the upper, no gimmicks on the midsole. The rubber is perfect. I'd say the only gimmick or weird thing is that they didn't extend the rubber around the back. That would truly make this a great shoe. I'm just worried that if I start using this a lot for training, you can already see, look right here where it's white, that means my heel wasn't touching the ground, or this part of the foam wasn't hitting the ground, but this part was. So I'm worried, like in my Sky Paris, I'll see if I can throw up some B-roll from earlier, but that thing is completely chewed up back here. So that's my one issue. If I start using this a lot for training, because it is so comfortable, will the foam degrade? Now these TPUs and TPEEs, again, I don't know exactly what this is. That information might be out there. I don't have it on top of my mind right now, but these newer, let's just call it current gen race foams, not the PIBAs, are very durable. Man, they are so durable, and not even just in the race shoes, but in the training shoes as well. So if this could be a more durable shoe and not get the chipping back here, for example, Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 with the exposed foam, it doesn't chip for some reason. It doesn't flake or degrade. So if this can stand up to that as well, be a really nice option. Now, upper, that was an issue in the Sky Paris. In this guy, I just cranked the laces down and it fixed it. I did have some heel slip in the beginning, but you really just gotta tie the laces tight. It's still not perfect. That's probably the weakest part of this shoe. I really wish they did something different with the upper, but it's lightweight, it's breathable, it's great for being out here in the 85 degree, 90 degree American. And on this shorter run, I wasn't banging up against the front. I am wearing a lighter sock, and it still is very flexible up here. So there's no hard toe cap like in the Endorphin Elite. I went true to size 10.5, and that wasn't an issue. So I would go true to size in here. I would not size half a size up unless you sized half a size up in the previous version. But I would get the same size that you have in the Nova Blast, in the Nimbus, whatever other Asics shoes. Same size you have in the Adios Pro 4, same size you have in the, what other ratios? Same size you have in the Alpha Fly, same size you have in the Fast R3. I'm 10.5 in pretty much everything. I have a 10.5 in this. There was no rubbing. And yeah, overall upper, the material is nice. It's just, you gotta crank it down. So I would spend the extra 10 seconds just making sure, especially near the top here, you are really cranking these top laces down. And that can also help hold the foot in place, because even if you're not feeling heel slip, sometimes if the top part here is not fully cinched, your foot will be further up and be banging up here. So just make sure you're lacing it up and you should be good to go. So overall, soft, comfortable, smooth, natural, good upper, lightweight, basically everything I want in a marathon shoe. Let's close it out with those 3 questions we always ask and answer in these first run reviews. First, how does this compare to its intended purpose? Now, Asics has 3 marathon shoes that they are releasing in this batch. They got the Sky, the Edge, and now the Ray. And the Ray is going to be pretty similar to this, but even lighter weight. And instead of having the FF Turbo Plus on top, they'll have 100% of the soft foam. So this is designed to be the marathon shoe or the race shoe for powerful style runners. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to shake out, because in the past version, the only difference between the Edge and the Sky was the plate placement. This one, you have the plate placement and you have the soft and the firm foams flipped. So in the Edge, you have the soft foam on top, which is more of the common setup, right? What we see in the Tempest, the Endorphin Trainer, and the Boston. So I'm excited to run in that. I was only able to get this one. Right now, the random site that put them up for sale early, they only had this. So I pre-ordered the Edge. I didn't pre-order the Ray. I don't think it's available yet, but I pre-ordered the Edge on Running Warehouse. That one should be here later this month. So I'm really interested to do the comparison. But just this versus its intended purpose, thinking about marathon shoe, not anything else, awesome. I was out here for, I think, about an hour today, maybe a little bit less, comfortable, not bottoming out, fast enough to run marathon pace. It felt perfect at marathon pace, man. And I myself did not feel perfect at marathon pace. I don't know, my training's just been up and down for the past 8 months, but this shoe felt really good at marathon pace. It felt natural there, just enough cushion with just enough pop and aggression, way better than the Fast R3 at marathon pace in terms of the comfort. And that's the one downside with the Fast R3. That thing is just so aggressive. And out of the box, if I had to choose right now, Fast R3 or this for race day for a full 26.2, I'm going this. And half marathon, maybe even this. So that's going to be a good comparison. But the additional comfort you get in here at a similar weight to the Fast R3, just for the marathon, I'm going to take this every time. Having that additional comfort, it just gives me more confidence. So that brings me to question number 2. How does this do versus the competitors? Again, beautiful job threading the needle between speed and comfort. This almost feels like it could be a training shoe. This feels like it could be the next version of the Magic Speed with how comfortable it is. So the FF Leap, the headline with that foam is so comfortable. You have all the speed, you have all the bounce, you have all the protection, and you have the comfort in a way that is not present in any of the other marathon shoes. Maybe the Adios Pro 4, but that one was tipping over to me to be too soft, too weird, which negates some of the comfort. So really nice job with this. And then question number 3, how does this compare to everything else on the market? And man, I'm excited to see what this does, because if this is a $300 or $270 race shoe that is this comfortable, man, where are the training shoes gonna go, right? The Hyperion Max 3 is coming out soon, and I'm excited to test that one. But if we're getting this much comfort and speed in a race shoe, it's almost like the trade-offs are just getting so minimal, because I could go out, run an hour relaxed in this. It's not gonna beat up my legs. And also, just the mechanics that I have to use to run in this, I don't feel like I'm pressing as much and digging as much. Even the Alpha Fly, sometimes I can feel like I have to modify my stride, and the Fast R3, I definitely have to modify my stride. And I was getting more up on the forefoot here, and those are more of my marathon pace mechanics, but it's just a very comfortable shoe to run in. I can feel more relaxed running this. When I put the Fast R3 on, it's that demon time thing, right? There's a flip. No, I always get this expression mixed up. I should probably stop saying it. There's a switch that flips when I lace up the Fast R3. That wasn't present here. Very familiar. I was saying out there, it's a nice tofu soup for the hobby jogger's soul. It's a nice warm cup of coffee on a Sunday morning, right? There's just so many elements of the shoe that feel familiar. The softness of the foam, the nice lightweight, the bounce in the front. There's nothing that's gonna blow your mind. It just does a really nice job wrapping all those elements up into a tidy, fast package. So, man, this thing is, I'm at home in it as a nice warm slice of apple pie on July 4th. I don't really have much more to say. Complete banger for what it is. And it's even better to have a shoe that doesn't blow my mind with the feel of it, but gives me the good performance. That's what this is. High performing shoe, really comfortable, nice and fast, but there's no weirdness to it. It's not gonna take you out of your zone. You can lace it up, do your thing with some nice comfort underfoot. So, man, this is a 9 out of 10. This is an A+ out of the box. I do have to say, the one concern I have with it is the softness of the foam on the long runs. Is it gonna get too soft and mushy for the full marathon? I don't think so, though. So, really nice job. I like this more than the Adios Pro 4. I like this more than the Elite 2. Definitely better than the Vaporfly. That thing was the definition of mid. This is gonna go up on the top 5 list. This is probably gonna boot the Cloud Boom Strike, because for the power rankings, because Cloud Boom Strike for a long time, or I guess this is gonna boot the Sky Paris, because this is now the Sky Paris replacement. But yeah, this versus the Cloud Boom Strike, for me, I'm taking this because I can actually race in it, right? The Cloud Boom Strike felt slightly too soft for racing. So great softness and comfort for training, and then the speed for racing. Dual foam is undefeated, man. Dual foam does not lie. So Sky Paris, or Sky Tokyo, Sky America, whatever you want to call it, Sky Charlotte, Sky Boston, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, A+, let's call it a 96 out of 100. I think they could get the extra 4 points from maybe just dialing in the upper. That's 2 points right there, and then some rubber around the back. Really nice shoe, man. This is up there for me. So hope everyone enjoyed the holiday today, or enjoys it. And shout out to everyone putting in the work all over the world. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. America, man. I was born in America. Probably die in America, unless Barefoot Mafia tries to take me out when I visit Europe. Something like that. I built this business in America. Blue skies in America today. I mean, we got the birds chirping in America. Yeah, I just don't get it, man. Because you can say, I love Charlotte. If you say, I love Charlotte, normal. If you say, I love America, weird. I love my house, normal. I love my country, weird. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I just don't get it. If someone can explain that to me, then I would. Oh, the Northeast is a great place to live. Completely normal. America is a great place. No. You could even say, okay, here's what's crazy. You could say California is the best state. That is normal. That's a normal thing to say. But if you say America is the best country, you're weird. That's weird. So, man, I don't get it.